Hi everybody, Marina is here, your Grow to Scale strategist. Welcome to a series of videos about information security. This is video number 1. So if you don't know this about me, I've worked for Checkpoint, a very large, very well-known information security company that is securing networks and stations. They also do encryptions of computers. So I'm very well versed in the information security realm, and I can give you a lot of good tips, a lot of good tricks about it. The reason I decided to make this series is because there are a lot of small and medium businesses that find either they don't know the importance of information security, or they don't have the budget and they don't allocate the budget for securing their data and securing their information. And what happens when they don't secure it is that your customers are entrusting you to provide a level of security. If the government has regulatory rules about how you're supposed to treat personal information, and in many cases nobody actually enforces it, but you should enforce it because it's personal for you. If something happens to your data and it's hacked or it's stolen, it affects your both reputation and your bottom line. And the one thing that every business should hold dear to themselves is the reputation and how they're viewed in the public eye. Even if you're a small business, especially if you're a small business. If you're a big one, you can weather a storm and you can hold up until you recover your reputation, or you can take action in order to get back on the horse. But if you're small or your medium business, you usually don't have those types of resources in order to weather it out and compensate and offer some perks for the customers to forgive you. So here we go. I will start with an example of something that made me cringe, and that example will lead or accompany us for the future videos where I will provide some more information and about tricks and ideas how you can do better in protecting the data. So here's an example. So I was working as a technical engineer in the information security company for a couple of years, and then I was promoted to be a manager, and I was overseeing several teams that were dealing with securing the networks of small and medium businesses. So I do understand the importance of how critical it is that the small and medium business is always operational, and they cannot have a downtime on their network, and they cannot afford losing data or having data stolen or their computer is compromised. One of the things that happen when you deal with real estate, you need to deal with real estate related professionals, such as mortgage brokers. It was the same story. Mortgage brokers, it was realtors that ask for your to email them your driver's license. It was the same thing with lawyers that ask you to send a lot of personal information. So it's not only mortgage brokers, but the mortgage brokers are the ones that collect the most information about you. And it was even at a job that I was starting to work at, and the HR there were laughing at me because they're asking me to fill out the documentation in order to start working with them. And some of the information is, what is your name, your address, and your social security number. And they wanted me to email that information to them over email. And that's not the worst, because the mortgage broker, what they ask you is to provide more. So social security number, name, your spouse, their social security number, they will ask. What are your savings? What are your income expenses? Where did you live where do you live now, but where did you live in the last 2 or 3 years, and so on and so on. And what happens is when you send it over clear text, and I will explain this term in the future, but when you send that kind of information over the email without any insecurity, it exposes that data to malicious parties, gets access to that kind of data. They basically can do anything with it. They can steal your identity, they can open bank accounts and credit cards using your name, because when you're opening a bank account or you're opening a credit card, that's the type of information they're asking you to provide: social security number, your address, your previous address, your where you work, and so on. And that's exactly the data or the information the mortgage broker is asking you to provide. So imagine the possibilities of what could be done if somebody who wants to do harm gets access to it. Your credit score can be, or credit history can be demolished. You can lose your identity. And I'm not talking about the psychological level, or I don't know who I am and where I'm going. It's literally, you have no access to funds. You have no access to your bank account. You cannot take out a credit card unless you're buying a prepaid one. You're losing your accounts to, or access to your internet accounts and your phone accounts and your, you can't even buy groceries when it happens. And I encountered somebody who called me for help to get a rent-to-own, to join the rent-to-own program with me. And they were telling me the horror stories that happened to them because their identity was stolen. So you do not want that to happen. And this series is basically talking to you on 2 levels. The first level is educating you as a consumer. What to do and what not to do when you're asked to provide information. Signature, like you're providing signature, it's so easy to fake it. So be careful. The second level is on the business level. So as a business owner, your customers are entrusting their personal information to you. It's a very, very heavy responsibility to protect that data. And yes, the government has regulations, but they're not harsh enough. I don't think they're not enforced enough. So it's your responsibility as a business owner. Take it personally. Don't do it because somebody tells you you need to do it. Do it because you care about your customers. If you care about the customers will care about you, and they will follow you and they will buy from you. But if you show irresponsible, like if you're irresponsible and you show disregard for their personal data and their personal information, customers will leave you. Especially the more educated and more people who are more aware, more evolved technologically, they would not work with you.